This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Check out betterhelp.com/nodunks. Life is full of stressors. Doesn't matter who you are, what you have, your life is probably stressful at times. Relationships, jobs, money, that's a lot of stress. I'm feeling it right now with upcoming travel. Eventually going to be going home in a couple of months. And, you just got to there's stress of seeing people. Well, first off, just traveling right now is obviously still a little weird. Getting there, how are we going to get around? How are we going to see everybody? It's stress. So unload the stress and get it out. Talk to someone who's completely unbiased about your life. Someone who isn't going to judge you or take sides on anything. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. So unload the stressors and get some unbiased feedback. You'll probably be pretty surprised at what you might gain from it. And why not just see if it's for you? This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and No Dunks listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/nodunks. That's BETTERHELP.com/nodunks. Oh, yeah! Steppin' on the beach, the only place to read your emails and your tweets. It's Wednesday, July 28th. This is another No Dunks pod on the Athletic Network. I'm J.E. Skeets. Got my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey, yo!
Whoa, international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
And making the magic happen all week long for us. Let me see if I can do a better job with this today. It's Andrew Schlecht.
I'm here. You did it.
Ah! You got a weird name that I have no problem saying it, but when I see it written down, in my show notes, I second guess myself for some weird reason. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're every teacher I ever had.
Okay, good.
Is it a Dutch name, Andrew?
It's a German name. It
German,
actually
okay.
means bad in German.
Oh, bad. I like that. That's your new nickname, man. It's the bad man. Tass, JD still on vacation. If you didn't join us yesterday, I think Tass is back maybe at the end of the week. JD though, oh man, he's just listening to Bob Cajun on repeat at the cottage right now. Hopefully drinking a moose head or something like that. So JD back next week. But we got Andrew here. We got our draft coverage coming up later this week. We're going to talk to John Hollinger tomorrow. That's going to be awesome. A lot of questions for him about the draft. And then we'll do a draft recap show. And again, thank God Andrew is here. He already knows way more than the rest of us combined about these guys. No, TK, I know you did this as well. I'm sure Lee hasn't. But I read a bunch of mock drafts yesterday. I went mock heavy. I read 3 or 4. I know you were doing the same, TK.
Oh, of course I was, Skeets. I feel a little less draw to it this year after the Bulls lost their pick in the lottery. But if I were you, I'd be going crazy on the mocks. I can't wait to see where Franz Wagner goes. Franz Wagner. Don't call me Mo Wagner. I mean, I'm a Michigan fan. I know who Franz Wagner is. I can't believe he's a top 10 guy. They say he's going number 9. I guess he's got a soft promise from the Kings. That's what I heard on a Zach Lowe podcast. A soft promise.
Little known fact, Wagner means good in German. It doesn't at all. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Please like, comment, and subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube. If you missed the big news from yesterday, we made some sweet ass merch just for y'all. There it is. Go to nodunks.com and buy these immaculate items. We got a stream team t-shirt. We got a new No Dunks variation colors, the Team USA colors there for that classic logo. So shout out to everybody that already grabbed one. I know they're flying off the shelves there over at Breaking Tea. So go to nodunks.com to get your stream team shirts or any of our other No Dunks merch. And keep your questions coming all week long for our next Beach Steppin' podcast. That's what we're doing here today. We'll get to them in a second, but email them at nodunks@theathletic.com, or you can tweet them in if you want at NoDunksInc, or leave them in the YouTube comments below. Okay, before we get to our first question, to no one's great surprise, the USA men's basketball team easily handled the overmatched Republic of Iran last night in the second Group A game. Americans beat them 20-66. Trey Kirby, is Team USA back, baby?
Team USA is back. Skeets, I'll be honest with you. Didn't watch this one with the 12:40 a.m. Eastern time start. I'd already put in about a half hour of watching women's canoe slalom, and that's when I knew it was time to go to bed. I was like, literally, what am I watching here? I can't hold out to see Team USA versus Iran. But, checking in on the game today, I like to see that Greg Popovich started Devin Booker and Drew Holiday. I know when they had to make some replacements earlier in the tournament, he was looking for in-shape players, and obviously these guys are quite game ready, playing in the NBA Finals last week. I also like getting Drew Holiday in the starting lineup because it gives you a perimeter stopper, and despite the fact that he had a really nice game against France, he's not necessarily going to be dominating the ball. He's a guy who moves the ball for sure. Also, it gives Team USA a chance to play faster. That happened, it looks like, here, putting up 120 points, 19 three-pointers, a ton of fast break points. Yep. Damian Lillard said afterwards, it's time to start looking like Team USA. And that's what Team USA does. They got offensive talent everywhere. They play fast, and they just try and overwhelm the opponents. Obviously, Iran is different than playing against France, one of the best teams in the tournament. But this is the idea for the U.S. You put Kevin Durant at the 4. You're not running Draymond and Bam Adebayo out there as a tandem, and you're just playing some USA basketball, right? We never saw the Redeem team walk the ball up and post up Jason Kidd. They were trying to get out in transition, get their three-pointers up, and just play Team USA basketball. So, a nice, what this end up being, a 54-point win?
Yeah, they covered.
54-point win for Team USA, and I guess it puts them in a pretty solid position against the Czech Republic. Still got to beat them. You got to beat the Czech Republic, but at least there's a little bit more room for error, I guess, if you get shocked and Thomas Satoransky banks in another one from 15 feet.
Don't do that to me, man. Yeah, Satoransky sent Canada home, or kept Canada home, I should say, during the Olympic qualifiers. Dort all over him there too, Andrew. Thought he had him locked up. And Satoransky hit a prayer, banked it home. Like a weird shot. But anyway, hell of a shot. And they played well. Czech Republic outplayed Canada for most of that game. So we'll see if Satoransky can do it again. Is he the North American killer? That'd be amazing. Kept Canada home, then took out Team USA. Unlikely, but they play in a couple of days here, and Team USA wins. Yeah, they'll move on to the medal round. And Lee, congrats to you, to your Boomers there, taking down, I believe it was Italy, right, in a really close game. Yeah. And that's a big win as they're looking to get their first medal, as we've talked about before. So congrats to you.
Yep. Yeah, 86-83. The Boomers 2-0 so far. Play Germany next. So good result there because Italians are a tough team. That was going to be a tough game. So glad we pulled that one out.
All right. Let's get into our questions here. We are on the beach. The only place to read your emails and tweets. Trey, you got the first one.
Yeah, nice batch this week. Heyo, No Dunks crew. With Giannis's monster oop and block in this year's finals, people are debating what is the greatest play in finals history. So my question to you guys is, in your opinion, what's the greatest play in finals history? Look forward to hearing your answers. Thanks, guys. Adam. Lee, what you got?
You guys know I love these sort of lists. I love putting them together. A couple of them just come straight off the dome, and then you start digging in a little bit more, and you're like, oh, my God, I can do about a list of about 15 here. But I tried to pass it down to 5, and I've been able to do that. And look, it is hard to sometimes put historical context onto some of the plays and moments that were before my time. It just was. It's just hard. I know on YouTube, you can watch most of these plays these days and read about them. But for the purposes of this exercise, I'm only going to use plays from when I started following the league, which was around the 86-87 season. Okay. So all right. No Jerry West stuff or anything like that. No, so I don't want people to come, how did you forget that? Anyway, and there's also, look, there's a little personal bias to these when you compile these lists. So you'll probably see that play out. But anyway, here goes. At number 5, I'm going back really to the first finals I remember. It was the Lakers and the Celtics. Lakers in Boston, trailing by a point. Lakers leading the series 2-1. Magic Johnson, with about 7 seconds to go, rises up and scores the most gorgeous hook shot to cap a 16-point comeback by the Lakers. Lakers go up 3-1 and eventually win the series in 6. And that replay of that Magic shot, I think it's 3 Celtics defenders are basically there, and he knocks it in. And then Larry Bird has a chance to win the game at the end, but he can't do it. So that one, because it sort of stood out for me, I remember thinking like Kareem was the sky hook man, and here's Magic Johnson with a beautiful sky hook in the lane there. So that's number 5.
Okay, great start.
Number 5. Wow, I think people are going to be shocked that comes in so low.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, look, This
There's a
again,
lot
good
of good
stuff.
plays,
Anyway,
I
we'll get to
suppose.
it. Number four. Yeah.
Jesus.
Game 6 of the 1994 finals. Knicks Rockets. Rockets lead by 2 with 7 seconds to go, but it's the Knicks ball in Houston. John Starks, who has had a great game at this point, 5 for 8 from downtown, had 23 points. Patrick Ewing comes out, sets a good screen. Akeem Olajuwon kind of gets a little bit caught. John Starks is open for a tiny split second. He's about to get the shot off. If he knocks it in, the Knicks win a championship. Starks is the hero. Akeem Olajuwon recovers to tip the shot, preserve the win for the Rockets. They go on to force a Game 7, and Houston goes on to win the title. I think that was huge because if John Starks hits that shot, he is forever. There's probably a statue of him outside Madison Square Garden right now because he.
Don't you have his jersey? You already have his jersey.
I do have it. In fact, I have it with me as well.
Oh wow! Wow, that traveled on the other side of the world.
Yeah, it did. It did travel with me because it was for a reason that I was possibly going to do a little something with someone, and I had it just in case.
Okay.
Hold
on. Before you move on, I will say that one. I don't think a lot of people would have on their list.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
It took you, like, obviously setting up the whole play and everything for even me to be reminded of it.
Yeah. And the reason, I don't think people will really have that one. But the reason I put it in there, as I say, I really think that block. I mean, Starks might have missed a shot, of course. There's no way I've ever known. But if he does hit that shot, the series is dead. And the Knicks, it's the Knicks who win the championship after all those years of fighting Jordan. Jordan's obviously retired at this point. Jordan goes down, and the Knicks have a chance to win the championship. And instead, that was obviously Patrick Ewing's best chance. They couldn't do it. They had a 3-2 lead in that series and couldn't close it out. At number 3, I'm going to Game 6 of the 2013 final, San Antonio, Miami. Heat down 3, 15 seconds to go. I mean, this one's obviously pretty obvious here. LeBron gets a shot up with about 10 seconds to go. He misses it. There's no Tim Duncan out there for San Antonio. Chris Bosh rebounds it, kind of just flicks it out to Ray Allen. He can't even check his feet. He's backpedaling, rises up, hits the 3. The game goes into overtime, which, of course, the Heat win, and then they go on and win Game 7 and the championship. And remember, after that Ray Allen play, the Spurs actually inbound the ball really quickly and potentially could have scored.
Yep.
But the refs stopped the game to check that it was a 3-pointer, and Greg Popovich was furious, and understandably so. I mean, to score in transition is that's what coaches often want. It's like, just get down there and see if you can score, and they weren't able to do that. And of course, LeBron goes on to win back-to-back championships. He had that Game 7 Finals MVP. I think, again, that's another one that was a huge one for LeBron's career and his legacy.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer on the list for sure.
Yeah. And, well, speaking of number 2 on the list, it's, again, LeBron James. 2016 Game 7, Warriors-Cavs scores tied about a minute 50 to go. It was actually a lot earlier, or there was a lot more time left on the clock than I remember before I looked at it again this morning. Andre Iguodala on a fast break and looks likely to score or get fouled or something, and LeBron just hunts him down like a lion chasing down a zebra in the Serengeti there and just hits him with that huge block. I mean, that block, again, the game was tied at this point in such a tight battle, again, with so much at stake. The Warriors, obviously, 3-1 lead they had. The Cavs coming back trying to win that game, Game 7 on the road. No one's ever come back from 3-1 down. And LeBron, no goaltending, not even close to goaltending, gets that monster rejection. And then, of course, Kyrie Irving hits a 3. LeBron hits a free throw later on to seal it. I just think if LeBron doesn't block that, let's say Andre Iguodala scores and the Warriors, let's say they pull it off, then it's like, wow, they were so close to coming back from 3-1 down, weren't able to do it. The Warriors go back-to-back. And maybe Kevin Durant doesn't join the Warriors after that season. So huge.
Okay.
But number 1, look, it's got to be the greatest double-ender in NBA history, maybe even the best threesome of plays, really, isn't it? Game 6, 1998, Bulls in Utah. Utah lead by 3 points. 3 points with 35 seconds to go, but the Chicago Bulls have the ball. Off the inbounds play, Jordan scores that layup. It only takes about 4 to 5 seconds off the clock, and he cuts the lead to 1. That was huge that he scored so quickly in the play there. And then on the next play down, Jordan, the Jazz clearly want to get something to Karl Malone. Obviously, why wouldn't they? Jordan gambles somewhat, leaving his man, but then does go and strip Karl Malone, doesn't foul him, gets the ball, comes back down the other end, and of course hits the jumper over Brian Russell. Now, the 6 championships, the back-to-back three-peats, all that stuff, the perfect finals record. I think that just all encapsulates everything about Michael Jordan and why it's so hard to knock him off as the GOAT, because he never, ever lost in the finals, and he had to make 3 plays in 35 seconds. If they lose that game 6, obviously game 7, could have gone either way, but Jordan never went to a game 7 in the finals anyway, in the NBA finals. And again, just the way that he sealed it, that jump shot, that perfect swish on the jump shot over at Brian Russell. But man, if he, let's say, I think it was Hornacek who he was gambling off. Let's say Karl Malone sees him and fires into Hornacek, he lays it up. The Jazz probably win that game. They probably win. But instead, Michael just makes himself the GOAT for these sorts of reasons. And I think that is still the greatest 35 seconds in NBA Finals history.
Wow, there it is. Okay, TK, you've heard his list. Any issues with it? Is he forgetting any obvious ones? What do you think?
Any issues? No, he picked the perfect number 1. But my main issue is I'm never going to be able to think about that shot, the biggest shot of at least saying in the NBA Finals, certainly the biggest of my life being a Bulls fan. And now I'm going to think of it as a double ender until the end of time.
Yeah,
I really wish you would have never said that, because clearly it's a double ender play, and it is like the finest double ender play in NBA history, but I don't want to consider that a double ender. I just want to consider it the end of Michael Jordan's career. He hits the walk-off game winner in the finals, retires from the NBA, and never comes back again. But now I'm going to think about Michael Jordan's double ender before he went to the Wizards. Lee, you just crushed my morning.
You ruined it. Lee, did you consider, be honest, at all, any of the honest plays from these last finals?
Well, for the purpose of this, I just took them out of it because that's kind of what led to this list in the first place. Okay. So I was like, that's like the easiest way to just say, and the Giannis, because it was like, well, that's what we're just talking about. So I just left it out, like I did with that sort of 25 additions to the top 50. It's like I'm sort of leaving off obvious additions because let's talk about some of the other stuff. We've just been talking about it. But look, there are a few other plays, of course. I mean, you could pick the John Paxson 3-pointer as well for the Bulls, to the first ever 3-peat in certainly since in the modern era of the game.
Yep.
That was fantastic. And
what else? What else do you have in it? Robert Horry?
But I mean, you can't, I had Allen Iverson because the crossover was an iconic moment. But of course, they didn't win the series that year. It was a game 1, and it wasn't like that was a game sealer rather than a game winner. So, those sorts of ones I just don't think are in the same echelon as the ones that a guy potentially saved a series, forced an extra game 7, and then they went on to win the championship. If Iverson, of course, pulled it off in game 7, then, yes, for sure. But
what about J.R. Smith's brain fart?
Memorable, certainly probably the most memorable play of that final series.
Yep.
Probably, because it was like, man, wow.
Yeah. You brought up the Ray Allen. You knew it was going to be on the list. You said it was at number 3. I made it the thumbnail for today's Beach Steppin' here on YouTube, and this photo, I don't know if I'd ever seen this photo, but it's pretty cool. I'll show it here for everybody that is joining us here on the stream team. I just think this is such a cool photo. Like, not only the lighting, where Ray is in the corner, 5 Spurs players.
Yeah.
And only Ray Allen. It's just a fascinating angle of it all. And it just looks amazing that he knocks this down after the Bosch rebound, and Pop not having Duncan out there. And then that's the same game where Bosch then does block Danny Green right in the corner. Yeah, which was a huge block. Danny Green obviously could have hit it. So crazy game.
That was in overtime, though, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Good call. Anyway, just wanted to share that for the stream team. Andrew, any qualms there with Lee's list?
No qualms. When I think about the NBA Finals, I just think about Scott Brooks playing Kendrick Perkins too much.
What about? Here's one for you, Andrew. Was that a foul on Kevin Durant game 2 of the 2012 Finals?
Lee, why are you trying to crush everybody this week?
Jeez, man. Andrew's actually brought over a lot of Thunder fans. Brought some of them back after we crapped all over them for that Kemba Walker trade, and some of them just left us completely.
The Moses Brown takes were
they're very spicy. You can tell we don't give a shit about the NBA draft much, do we? All right, great stuff, Lee. I thought that was a pretty solid list. I know there's going to be some people taking some issues with it, but have at it in the comments. Some people already in the stream team, but let us know in the YouTube comments. Tweet at us at NoDunksInc. What would you have also on the list of greatest plays in NBA Finals history? Great start to this Beach Steppin'. Next one. Ayo! My partner and I have been together for 13 years. We've been huge fans of the pod since the TBJ days. And in 3 weeks, we are finally getting hitched. will be stepping on the beach on Lake Superior for our ceremony. Wow, a pivotal day. Since it took us so long, we're wondering if there is something in your lives that you put off doing, but glad you finally did it. Or something you've been putting off that you're excited to finally cross off the list. Cheers. That's from Catherine and Michael. Congratulations to the both of you. Lake Superior. Is it the greatest of the Great Lakes?
Mm-hmm.
TK, of the 5 of them, what are they? Erie, Ontario, Michigan, Huron, and Superior. Yes.
I'm a Michigan man myself, but that's a homer pick. Superior, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest.
It is.
It's
I believe
superior
it's the
to all the
deepest.
other ones.
Yep.
It has the claim, but it's kind of like, it's like the movie Elf. They've got that coffee shop that says best coffee in the world.
Right.
We know it's not the best coffee in the world. That's the joke for us. Calling your lake Lake Superior.
Right.
We know it's not the Superior Lake. What are you playing at here?
Oh, I'm sure it's a beautiful place for a ceremony, though. A pivotal day
certainly.
there, like Catherine and Michael said. Okay, I'll get us started with this very quickly. Something I was putting off. I've told you guys this before. I'm a list man, though I use my app right on my phone. Any.do is the one I use. Some people always reach out. Hey, what do you use? I use any.do. Okay, as my little task manager. And one of them that I'd had on my list all summer long, all spring long, so for months now, was wash the windows, right? I used to be a window washer. I'm not paying somebody to wash my windows. I don't have super high windows, so it's not too dangerous. I need to get a ladder out, but it's not crazy. So I'm like, okay, I keep putting it off. And it's annoying, right? Because every day I just got to drag it to the next day, and I drag it to the next day, and I'm always looking at it. On, I guess it was Sunday or maybe Monday. No, it was Monday. I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. Because we didn't have a show that day. We already had the film session locked and loaded. So I get out there and I'm fine, whatever. It goes fine. I wash all these windows. And then what happens? We get the craziest thunderstorms here in Atlanta. Not only on Monday night for hours and hours, but we had another set last night there on Tuesday. So it was like, they're filthy again. They're not as bad as they were because it's just rain, but you know what I mean, Lee? It's just like, why did I even do it? I should have just never done it. Should have just waited till the fall or something, but now I got to go back and do it. That's my cool story, bro, and I'm sticking to it.
That's the funny thing about Atlanta weather is if it hasn't rained for a while, because sometimes we go 3, 4, 5 weeks without even a drop of rain. I can guarantee it will rain the day after I wash my car. That happens 100% accuracy. It's never ever failed. Because you're like, all right, I'm going to finally go out and clean it today. We've got some good weather coming up, and then bang, it's just like, okay, thanks. Yep, no point in doing that. And you sometimes think, well, it's not bad because it's clean, so it's just rainwater. But of course, all the dust in the air. The next day, it's just filthy again, and just like, yeah, great. Once again, the jinx. It's the weather jinx of Atlanta. That's what it is.
Well, Lee, you missed some crazy storm. My power was out. TK, I think you managed to keep yours the other night, but it was like tornado-y vibes. Like the sky was angry.
No, can someone go and check the roof?
Well, no, you're right. Honestly, Lee, I thought about texting you. I didn't want to ruin your trip, but my buddy Grish too. Every time he's gone, and he's gone right now, a tree falls and either takes out his power line. Nearly hit his car the other day. It's happened 3 times. So I'm like, I got to drive by his place too. Maybe I'll swing by your roof or check your roof out there.
Yeah, give Beto a call if you can, just see if he can fling the ladder up and check it out there. So I was hoping not to hear that. That's one thing I was hoping not to hear when I was away. Sorry, man.
You're back at the end of the week. I'm sure everything's fine. TK, do you have an answer for this one? Something again that you've just been putting off, and glad you finally did, or something that you're going to do?
We just got our cat back. And here's the story of Wilbur. We took in Wilbur as a stray, probably 2010 or something like that. This is back at our house in Lombard. This is a deep cut for the people who have been around a long time. Back at the house in Lombard, we made possibly a mistake feeding some of the neighborhood cats out of the back, and one was particularly charming. That's Wilbur. We took him in, like I said, 2010. He stayed with us for about a year. But then we ended up moving to Toronto, and we just didn't have space to have a cat and a dog in a tiny place in Toronto. So he went and lived with Dwayne and Jana in Lake Holiday until we moved back to Atlanta here in 2013. We got Wilbur back then, but But then we had our first kid, Isla, in 2014, and Wilbur was too big, too crazy, and honestly a little bit too creepy to keep around a baby and a new mother. So back to Lake Holiday until we bought a house recently, and Wilbur is back. We weren't necessarily looking for another pet. We went from having yams to getting 2 fish and a sea snail and Wilbur all within a week, and I'm loving having this guy back around. He jumped on the piano one time. It really scared me. He'll come up behind on your neck, start rubbing you down. That's the weird part. It's like, why are you enjoying this so much as a cat? I'm not enjoying it that much as a human, but I don't know. I wasn't excited necessarily to have Wilbur back in the mix, but now that he's here, I'm loving it.
He still, though, correct me if I'm wrong, creeps on your wife when she takes a shower, right?
Guaranteed. Yeah, exactly right.
Crazy. Like your wife, like Laura's convinced like there's an old man in that cat, like reincarnated. Like a
exactly.
Old man.
She's like, and that was part of the reason he had to go to Lake Holiday in the first place. It was like, easy, buddy. We don't have a lot of privacy now that we've got a baby around here. So actually being in the shower, he would, Laura or I would be in there. And then suddenly you would like just hear the swishing of the shower curtain. And he's like walking along the edge of the bathtub in between the liner and the curtain, like peeking around. Occasionally, like he'll reach in, just get a little bit of water to taste what's going on in there. What are you doing, weirdo? The weirdest guy of all time. But it's nice to have him back creeping people out at this point.
Yeah,
cats are weird ass motherfuckers, aren't they? I
mean, they're different. No doubt. I mean, it's like we've said before. If aliens are truly here and live amongst us, they're in cats. They're just monitoring us.
They're in cats.
Reporting back to the mothership or something like that. Andrew, do you have an answer for this one?
Yeah, my wife has always been someone who drinks a lot of water, and all power to her. That's great. I've never been a huge water guy until recently. Now I drink a gallon of water every day.
Wow.
And I made fun of her about it because she carried around this giant jug of water.
Yeah, like JaVale McGee. Yeah.
Yes, it looks comical. It makes you look like you've shrunk. Like it's hilarious. And she bought me one and just challenged me. And I've been drinking a gallon of water every day.
Challenge me.
Wow.
She had to challenge me for me to do it. And I feel so much better.
Yeah, that's what they say. Apparently it works.
I really do feel better. Yes, I'm in.
All right.
And your skin is glowing, here on the stream right now. I think it's working.
Yeah, just water.
Just water. Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm a water man as well myself. I used to drink 1,000 Diet Cokes in a year until my wife was like, you probably shouldn't have 1,000 of them. Yeah. Get you a water bottle, buddy.
Yeah. Now we're always, somebody's always dropping a water bottle.
Exactly.
You ever hear our mic banging off the table? It's usually a water bottle is involved. All right, good. Yeah, drink water. You don't add anything to it, right? Not even like a little lemon or anything? No, okay. Good for you.
No. Yeah, straight water.
Okay, good. All right, TK, what's our next one?
Greetings, all. Having heard your driving license chat on the last pod, I got to thinking. Skeets said that Atlanta is not the NBA of driving, but where in the world is the NBA of driving? Also, where is the NBA of other stuff? Food, wine, Lego, bass fishing, anything? Alternately, what is your hometown the NBA of? I'm in the UK, so I think we have the NBA of royal families. Any others? Tuluga. Rick in Surrey, UK. Tuluga, Tuluga. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome. Nice. That's from Rick. Skeetsy, what you got, bud?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me. Like, where in the world is the NBA of driving? Like, Lee, you're in Europe right now. Is there any place come to mind? Like, I feel like it's got to be, like, I don't know. Is it like is it actually a chaotic driving city where somehow, despite having very little like rules, nobody manages to crash with all the honking and stuff like that? Maybe it's
I would say actually Denmark. The roads over there were really, really nice. I was supposed to drive, but our plans changed a little bit. And we didn't need the car, so we caught the train. And I was like, I should have just driven anyway, because everything just operates really smoothly there. And here's the big thing, especially in Europe, they really do cater to cyclists on the road here. Like cyclists have often their own lane. And the rules are like, you know, they're very well protected, which makes the traffic flow because people understand. Like I feel in America and Australia, same in Australia, it's still that like I'm in a car, so bike you've got to make sure you're paying attention. I don't have to pay as attention as much. But over here, I think it's the other way. I think it's a lot more sort of even. It's like there's a lot more respect between the two forms of transport. So I would say Germany, the roads were outstanding there. Holland here, they're great. The only thing I will say about European roads and cities especially, sometimes you're just walking along what you think is like an alleyway, and a car will just come driving by.
right.
Especially in like Italy, some of those roads are so tiny and so narrow, and you're walking along sometimes with your luggage, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I guess this is the road. Actually, a car is just driving along here. So, I just think obviously these cities are so old. You know, they were made for horse and carriages, not really for cars. But no, I think I just
there's a hospital on every block with a horse.
I feel from my other experiences in Europe that the roads here and the traffic laws seem to be a little bit more, respectful of each other.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know if you ever had this experience, Lee. I think it was Copenhagen. It was definitely. I think it was. That when you're walking, you got to remember to watch out for bikes.
Oh yeah,
like that's when you actually are. It's more dangerous, like because you just forget. I don't know, because you're right. It almost like is another lane for them, and you're just like not thinking. You're like only worried about cars and like when you can't cross, when you cannot cross. And I remember almost getting taken out by a bike or two. It was like, and it was my fault because it was like they had the light and they had the right of way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's nearly happened like multiple times for me here because you also just sort of think you're on the sidewalk, but there is like a bike allocated lane there. So you got to be very careful with that. And same with the streetcars as well. They just sort of zip through the city and then up off the side where the cars can go through. So, but it just doesn't feel quite as tense. Again, look, it's different mode as well. You're not in the sort of day-to-day slog of the traffic, but I feel sometimes in America there's a bit more intimidation on the road because some of those trucks, those big F-150s, are just huge, and you don't really see any of those out here because they're just too big for the roads.
Yeah, it's true. To answer the one part of this question from Rick, I guess what is my hometown the NBA of? Stratford, Ontario. This is pretty easy. Is the NBA of Shakespeare Theatre? Truly is. Outside of. Well, maybe Stratford in England, but I think even Stratford, Ontario's got them beat in terms of the plays and stuff that they put on at the different theaters in Stratford. Though I will also add Stratford, Ontario, the NBA of food truck French fries. Shout out to Ken's French Fries, an incredible food truck that only serves fries. And that's a soggy variety of French fries, which I actually usually don't like, but these are that delicious that I love it with all that vinegar on it and salt and stuff. Like, oh god, they're good. So that's what Stratford, Ontario is.
Do they only serve one kind of fry?
They did when I was
wet
a kid.
fry.
Yeah, like of course different sizes, but that was it. That's all they had in this truck, and they nailed it. And you
specialists.
All I remember is like you could go malt vinegar or white vinegar, I guess, or just normal vinegar. Some people like malt vinegar. Anybody a malt vinegar fan? Some people hate it. I don't like the smell of it all that much.
Yeah, well, vinegar never smells great.
Yeah, but, malt vinegar is another level to me. Anyway, that's all they had.
Yeah.
Okay. What's Sunbury, the NBA of, Lee?
Well, so Sunbury is actually the birthplace of the Ashes, which is what the England cricket team and the Australian cricket team fight for every 2 years. It's called the Ashes because what happened apparently, now the stories has changed a little over the years, but in 1882, England were touring Australia and they had a game. It wasn't an official game, but they played a game in Sunbury and Australia beat them. And of course, this was when England was the powerful empire. And it was like, we can't ever lose to Australia at cricket. And they did in Sunbury. So to symbolize the death of cricket in England, I think someone within the Australian team burnt or they burnt a bale, which is one of the things that falls off the stumps.
Okay.
And they put it into this urn to say, this is the death of cricket in England, sort of as a
wow.
There you go. But now it's come to symbolize, that's what they play for every 2 years. It's the Ashes. And I talk about the Stanley Cup being the greatest and the biggest and the best trophy in sports. Well, this Ashes urn, what they play for, honestly, it's like this big. It is. It's
Lee
tiny.
on the
Yeah.
stream team is showing, I don't know, like 6 inches here, maybe.
It's about 6 inches, and you see them afterwards. They celebrate holding up this tiny little thing. It's like someone's just made a miniature version of this huge trophy, but they have.
What is this? A trophy for ants?
But anyway,
Okay.
yeah. So they played a centennial game in Sunbury in I think it was 1995, and the build up for this was like 2 years in the making. It was like, all the players were out there going to play for it, and I was actually away for it. I couldn't believe it. I went away on a trip, so I was watching this game on TV up in Queensland. I was like, I can't believe I missed this game.
You've told us this part of the story.
Yeah. So there's certainly a big old flex there from Sunbury saying we're the birthplace of the Ashes.
Is there a sign outside the city?
Yeah, of course there is. Yeah. I think there's a sign.
Tiny sign?
Yeah. I think there's actually a sign. I believe there used to be anyway. I'm not sure if it's still there at the airport when you're leaving. Like you've got the city in one direction and then you got Sunbury in the other, and it says Sunbury, birthplace of the Ashes.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, the big old flex.
Yeah. Awesome. Andrew, what about you?
I'm from Oklahoma City. People pride themselves on being friendly here.
Okay.
Must have lots of tornadoes. But this summer, it's got to be flies. I kill probably 20 flies in my kitchen every single day.
Ooh.
That's too many.
Is that common, I guess, during the summers for the most part?
I don't know. I just know that it's happening we just moved, and so there's just flies.
Oh, you got a fly house, man.
We got some flies.
Wow.
So see.
What are
Place of
so
flies. NBA
first off,
flies.
I assume you've become a bit of a master at killing them because you've had
Yes.
practice. What's
Oh, yeah.
what's your strategy? Is it what's your weapon of choice?
Oh, swatter for sure. Just old school swatter.
Plastic swatter.
And-
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect.
Good.
I would like to have you guys tried the assault guns that you can buy?
No.
You can kill flies with. Yeah. You
Wow.
load it up with salt.
I've seen those.
And
Yeah.
Wow.
My friend has one, and great fun.
Oh, gee, I didn't even know that was a thing. It sounds like something you can buy in the Hamakerschlemmer catalog. Though. Fly killing salt gun. Yeah, I'll take 2. Okay. What about you, Trey Kirby?
Plano, Illinois is the NBA of making plastic tackle boxes. We're the biggest plastic tackle box maker in the world. If you fish, you've probably got a Plano tackle box. That's all I will buy. I mean, that's the one thing that I'm super brand loyal to. I'm only going to ever store my lures in a Plano tackle box. So I feel like I'm disrespecting my entire childhood if I were to throw out a flambeau or whatever these newfangled ones are called. If I got me a Bass Mafia tackle box, I would be laughed out of Plano the next time I go back.
Wow. Okay, so people that have a tackle box can go and check, and it should say actually Plano, Illinois.
It'll
somewhere on
have the logo, a big old P. It should say "Made in Plano, Illinois."
Wow. All right. Okay, everybody that's got a tackle box, go and check.
That's right.
And then take a photo and tag us in it at No Dunk Sick, and tag Trey Kirby as well at Trey Kirby on
Please
Twitter.
do.
Yeah. Let's see how many people actually have that. Because I bet you're right. I bet a lot of people don't know they have one. Is what you're telling me.
Yeah, exactly. Like more than likely, if you have one, if you have a tackle box, it's probably a Plano or at least a Plano ripoff. And we're also known for caboodles, but the caboodle is literally just a curvy tackle box. Like it's
Right.
it's just a tackle box that they made purple. That's it. But we cracked the code. 2 products now.
That's pretty incredible. Yeah. They must have just had a meeting. Somebody was like, how do we get more tackle boxes in the hands of children? Somebody said, just come up with a different name for it. Make it a little more rounded. Make it a little more colorful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, we can call it caboodle. All right, do it. It's the same thing. You're right. It's a tackle box.
Yeah, surely people were already using tackle boxes. I know here we use it like we store the girls' hair stuff in it, right?
Yeah.
Like all of their hair ties and barrettes, that kind of thing. So probably that was already being done circa 1992. People were like, hey, throw some glitter on that and we'll sell 1 million of them. The whole kit and caboodle, get your boxes now. Because, yeah, it would be not quite as cute to just have like a green and tan one sitting up there in the bathroom.
It's true. All right, we're going to take our first break, but lots more questions when we come back. If you're like me, a busy man who hates spelling mistakes, you have no doubt experienced taking forever to craft the perfect email. It can take a ridiculous amount of time. Double checking turns into triple checking. Triple checking turns into quadruple checking. Quadruple checking turns into Help me out, Grammarly. Shut up, Lee. Help me out, Grammarly. Quincifer, what'd you say it was, Lee? You're a Grammarly guy.
Quintuple.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, sure. Quintuple? I don't know.
Quintuple.
Yeah.
quintuple.
Quadruple checking turns into quintuple checking. Lee, see, that's why. Perfectly played, Ellis. We didn't even practice that. So why not save yourself doubt and time on emails, messages, projects with real-time suggestions from Grammarly Premium? It just helps you work more efficiently. They hit you with clarity suggestions. What does that mean? Well, Grammarly Premium helps you get your message across quickly without repeated or unnecessary words. Vocabulary suggestions. No more searching for synonyms. I used to do that all the time. Now Grammarly Premium's right there, offering great suggestions. So I'm not always using the same words and phrases. I do on the podcast. I repeat myself every day. I mean, you guys do it too. We all got our 3, 4, 5, just things that you can't help but say. But, it helps.
For sure.
Yeah,
we need Grammarly for our voices.
Right?
You may want to replace for sure with that's right.
Man, it works, guys. It definitely works. Not with speech, but yeah, when you're writing things. GP, that's what I call it, can also help with clarity checks, tone, and plagiarism. So cut down on editing time and write more confidently with Grammarly Premium. Get 20% off Grammarly Premium by signing up at Grammarly.com/NoDunks. That's 20% off at GRAMMARLY.com/NoDunks.
A subject that can be uncomfortable to talk about, but you really need to discuss is life insurance, because if someone relies on you for financial support, you need life insurance. And to properly provide for their families, most people need 10 times the life insurance coverage. PolicyGenius makes it easy to compare quotes from over a dozen top insurers all in one place. You can save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with PolicyGenius. You could save $1,300 or more per year on life insurance by using PolicyGenius to compare policies. The licensed experts at PolicyGenius work for you, not the insurance companies, so you can trust them to help you navigate every step of the shopping and buying process. And eligible applicants can get covered in as little as a week thanks to an award-winning policy option that swaps the standard medical exam requirement for a simple phone call. Getting started is easy. Just go to PolicyGenius.com. In minutes, you can work out how much life insurance coverage you need and compare personalized quotes to find your best price. When you're ready to apply, the PolicyGenius team will handle the paperwork and scheduling for free, and PolicyGenius never sells your information to other companies. I love hearing that. Head to PolicyGenius.com to get started right now. PolicyGenius, when it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right.
All right, back with No Dunks into our next batch of questions here. I got this one. Hey, fam, longtime listener, but it's been a few hectic weeks, so I'm behind on the pods. Apologies if this has already been discussed. The new season of Australian Survivor just started, and longtime Lee Storytime subject and AFL legend Gavin Wanganeen is on Team Braun. I figured it's never too late to get in on Survivor, and this could be the perfect opportunity to bring Lee in with one of his other interests. Just before I get to the actual question, can you believe this, Lee? The Wanger.
Gavin Wanganeen.
Wanganeen.
Yeah. Fantastic Australian rules football player.
Right.
And the story about him was I was in a bar one night when he was in pretty much the height of his fame, I guess, or it's close to it. He was the MVP of the league, and he's a two-time. He wasn't a two-time finals MVP. He was a one-time finals MVP, I think, but he was just known as a brilliant finals player as well. And a lady came up to me and said to me, "Oh, you look like Justin. You look like Gavin Wanganeen." And I said, "I'm his cousin, Justin Wanganeen." And
that's it.
Yeah. So
his cousin, Justin Wanganeen.
Yeah, and then later on, one time I was in. I started just using that as my an alias at times. And I was in a bar one night in London, and I entered a raffle, and Justin Wanganeen won the raffle. And the guy was on the microphone saying, Justin Wanganeen is the winner. And I was playing darts or something and I forgot. And then I was just like, oh, I put down Justin Wanganeen as my entry and I won the raffle. So they were calling out. And I just forgot that I'd put that down. So I had some luck with that, I tell you.
I'll tell you what, I don't know how he's doing on Australia Survivor, but if Gavin makes it to the loved ones visit and he brings out his cousin Justin and it's Lee, then that story will have been worth it.
That's where Lee's been this whole time, is just waiting for the family visit on Australia's Survivor to come out and give him a big hug.
Hey, someone knew Gavin Wanganeen, and for the Basketball Jones 1,000 episodes, he sent us a congratulatory photo. Yeah, so it's a small world out there.
Crazy. All right. The question here, this email continues: what is an addition or change to something that you've previously resisted against that could make you guys decide to give it a crack? For me, I always hated spas and hot tubs. I recently bought a house that already had one, and I was going to get it removed, but decided to give it a crack, and now I love it. It turns out I only hate disgusting hotel/public hot tubs. Cheers. That's from Mark in Brisbane, Australia. He's all in on hot tubs now, as long as it's his own. That makes sense. Not as gross. But Trey, what's an addition or change to something that you previously resisted that could make you guys maybe decide to give it a crack?
I'm not exaggerating when I say that my life was changed by a Tabasco sauce commercial. It was a freshman year of high school. They had that mosquito commercial. Do you remember this? Where there's a guy just like sweating and pouring hot sauce all over his pizza. I think this was my freshman year of high school. He's eating this thing. He's sweaty. A mosquito bites him. It flies away. Explodes, man. I thought that was the greatest commercial I had ever seen. The next time I had pizza, I'm like, Mom, we got to get Tabasco sauce. I threw it on there. And since that day, I've been a sauce man. Wow. I can't eat pizza without hot sauce at this point. And, Laura always makes fun of me. She's like, you are a marketer's absolute dream. And that's 100% true, because if I see a commercial for something that looks like the tiniest bit interesting, I'm 100% in. I'm like, hey, hot sauce on pizza? Never even thought about it. But that mosquito is dead now, and I would love to replicate that on my own. So, this sort of answers the question in a roundabout way. But that was it for me. Like, seeing that, I can't believe that a 30-second Super Bowl commercial really had that big of an effect on me, 25 years down the line. Pretty embarrassing, but pretty great.
Man. It works. Man. It truly works. Okay. Andrew, let's go to you next. You got an answer to this one?
Yeah, I typically go to the gym a few times a week, and I had just been running a mile, running 2 miles, lifting some weights, doing it all by myself because I really didn't want to interact with anybody. But I've recently started going to classes put on at the shout out to the Mitch Park YMCA here in Edmond. And they really push you. And I feel like I'm getting stronger every day because of these classes. So the addition of having others there and somebody that actually knows what they're doing telling me what to do, very, very helpful.
But you were always hesitant to actually try it? Like you were...
Oh, yeah. Because you look, because they're all open.
Yeah.
They have windows. You can look in, and it's a lot of older ladies in there.
Right.
Is really what it is. And you're like, I definitely don't belong in there. But you just have to just throw that all away.
Right.
I feel good.
Good.
A lot of these older ladies are doing a lot better than I am, but it's it's a good workout.
It's like those old ladies started as young ladies with a trainer, and they're still at it. All these years later. That's why. That's right.
I mean, it's like when we went to the Bar 3 class with Lily, and it was we were the only guys I think in the class. Maybe there was one other one. But it was all older women kicking our ass.
Yes.
At this stuff. Okay, good. That's a great answer. Lee, what do you have?
It's sort of combination of both of Trey's and Andrew's there because
you're working out while you're eating Tabasco sauce?
No, but
my
that is how my Bar 3 started there because my wife was doing it and she was like, you should try it. And I'm like, I bet it's not that tough. I bet it's not that interesting. And I went and I was like, after my very first class, I was like, oh my God, this is an incredible workout. Like you guys were like, it was like, it blew me away just how I felt great afterwards as well. That's the good thing. There was no real sort of pains and soreness or anything like that. It was like you felt energized. And then I was all in there for a while, but unfortunately, I've gotten out of that routine. I'm going to have to get back into it hopefully next season. But and also with the hot sauce, a friend of mine, Harold, I think you guys have met him actually in Canada there. Yeah, from Belize he is, and he was always a hot sauce on everything guy.
Yeah.
And I was always like, nah, I don't like it too spicy. Hanging out with him, and he does put hot sauce and everything, and then you can't go without having hot sauce on stuff after that, because
that's
it's like,
the one issue when you start doing it. You're
Yeah.
basically all in on it.
Yeah. So a couple of very similar responses there, because it was like it does that first time you're resisting, and you're like, nah, I know I'm not going to like the spiciness. I'm going to be guzzling water, but then you're like, actually, it does bring a bit more, pop to whatever it is you're eating. So
Sure.
Yeah. It's great.
Wow, we gotta get ourselves a hot sauce sponsor.
Yeah.
Here. Turn this into hot ones or something like that.
Good pick and payoff, actually. Like your
true.
hot saucing during a podcast, a hot pod.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, I do owe a couple pick and payoffs, and I mean, I like hot sauce enough, but I do, like most of us, I think, like I would struggle with it once they get up to the super level. So. Well, maybe that is a good idea for one. Just sweating here.
Oh yeah,
on
the Lee eating hot peppers challenge on the starters was one of the best pick and payoffs we've ever done. The sauce. Oh, Sep B suggesting we should make our own sauce. No Dunk's hot sauce.
Wow,
interesting. Something to put into the mix or ideas mix.
Sauce
Go for it.
Okay. Yes, there it is. Good idea, Sep B.
Great idea.
All right, TK, you got the next one here.
Yes, indeed I do. Hey, guys. Last week on the Smartless podcast with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes, the guys spoke to LeBron James. Ever heard of him? LeBron was asked if he could see himself pursuing a film career as an action star like The Rock after he finishes up his NBA career, to which LeBron responded, I'm not against that. This got me wondering, what existing action movie franchise would you like to see LeBron take over? Cheers. That's from Bell in Brisbane, Australia. Long timer. Skeets, what you got? An action movie franchise for LeBron?
Well, The Rock, he is not. Let's just say that first and foremost. LeBron, he's not bad. I mean, we were disappointed with his acting in Space Jam: A New Legacy. I still think he's decent though on screen. I think put in the right role, but come on. The Rock is The Rock. Hell, I might even watch Jungle Cruise.
Oh, come on.
Shit, does it? Oh, my God. He's taking a paycheck on that one. Good for him.
Jungle Cruise.
Wow. But let me use this opportunity to answer this question with a little plug for our own new series coming up in the summer here. Put LeBron in Fast and Furious. Like, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I know The Rock eventually shows up. I've only watched a couple. We are going to be doing Fast Friends is our Fast and Furious podcast rewatch series. Going to drop the first one in early August. So actually coming up. It's right around the corner here. But I'm only a couple in. So I haven't got to The Rock showing up yet. But the actors that they have in these things, like LeBron could easily be in it. And I could think, hold his own in some smaller scenes as a character. Am I wrong, Trey? Like, yeah, I think it'd be believable enough.
100%. People in the stream team right now are mentioning that The Rock was terrible in The Scorpion King and The Mummy. So, LeBron has a chance here too. Early in his career, The Rock wasn't The Rock on the silver screen. Maybe LeBron just needs a few more reps, and I could definitely see him fitting into the Fast and Furious franchise. They get him involved. He just happens to be, maybe they take it back to LA at some point. He happens to be at one of those street races. They're like, LeBron, you want to get in on this? He gets in. Suddenly, he's a surprisingly great racer, and then he gets spun off into his own series with Hobbs or Shaw or something like that. I can see it happening.
Yeah, you could see a line where he's like, I put $1 million into my body every year. I put 10 million into my car. Something like that. I'll start writing the script for it.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, so LeBron in Fast and Furious, but I really just wanted an opportunity to plug the Fast Friends podcast series dropping early August, and then every week after that, a new episode about the next movie in the franchise. Lee, let's go to you next, though. What action movie franchise are you putting Bron in?
Well, just quickly to go back to The Rock, because I heard last year he was the highest paid actor in Hollywood. I know those things, I don't know, they change a lot. But I also was thinking, like, most of his movies seem to be kind of goofy and, like, has he had an absolute banger of a movie, like a must-watch movie?
Moana.
Wait, yeah, but even that was
it shouldn't count.
Banger.
Yeah, that's animation.
It is a banger though.
Yeah. Anyway, it seems
Well,
like
I don't know. What's
I think
The Rock's
that's a good
best
point,
movie?
though, Skeets, because The Rock, like, I don't know. I've been a fan of The Rock since I was 16. And, he's hitting all of the demographics. He is in Moana, one of the best Disney movies. So he's going to bring in the youth demographic right there. Who knows if they make another Moana? I wouldn't be surprised. They make sequels of basically every other Disney thing. So why not? Then he's got the adult bros with the Fast and Furious franchise as well, not to mention some of his other franchise work that he's been around with. And then he's got Jungle Cruise. He's going after the kid market again. And that's how he becomes the highest paid actor, right? Kids like his movies, adults like his movies, and people that have known about him for 20 years are going to go see everything.
Yeah, and I get that it's like it's just a way of making money, but I want to see him at some point be like, wow, now that was a great, serious kind of movie, not just like,
Serious Rock.
Well, I don't know. Was he Daddy Daycare? Was that him as well? Where
Sounds
he,
right. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, look, I like him, but it's just kind of like it's very smart of him to be able to generate that sort of revenue acting in sort of goofy old movies.
Sure.
Really.
Well, they throw a boatload of money at him because he's a draw. Like,
exactly. Like he's in terms of like, there's never any real controversy with him, is there, in his life? Like, he's always a very, solid citizen and role model and all that. So all that stuff helps for sure. Everyone loves The Rock. I don't know anyone who doesn't.
So you want
love
him though to have his, his Predator, like Arnold, or his Rocky, like
exactly. Yeah, like a really good movie that we take him seriously. He's not dancing to Taylor Swift in one of his movies. I remember that from one of the previews. Anyway, listen, for LeBron, similar sort of thought process here. I would love to see him in like either Bond or the Bourne Identity as the bad guy. I think I think LeBron, with his physical size, he's a big guy. He can, have a beard and all that, whatever. But, you can imagine him playing the role of an evil sort of, mob boss or a gangster or something like that. And the other guy, whether or not that's Matthew, what's his name? Matt Damon.
Matthew Damon.
Or whoever the Bond is at that particular time, Daniel Craig, whoever. Is he still? I don't think he's doing it anymore.
No, isn't it?
Idris Elba?
Is it him? Is that confirmed? Yeah.
But I think the one that's coming out soon is Daniel Craig, right?
Is that his last one?
So he is coming back. Yeah. Anyway, I just think, remember Jaws? Remember that actor Jaws, that big actor from, like in the 70s. I mean, I think LeBron could play that just as like the, physically intimidating presence as the bad guy.
Well, Boban already beat him to the punch, though. Wasn't Boban a bad guy in John Wick? What number was that? 3? Yeah. But no, I hear what you're saying. I actually like him in the Bourne series a little more because LeBron's a smart guy too. The brains and the brawn, to take it back to Australian Survivor. He could be on both tribes.
Because from Uncut Gems, I loved Kevin Garnett in that role as the sort of real,
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, but I felt
I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, but I just felt that he sort of tried. He played like the mean guy, the tough guy, and I think that's the better role for him, So
I think Kevin Garnett was playing Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, but the point is, like, he wasn't. He played that really well. He encapsulated that role as like the the tough guy. So.
I agree. He played himself perfectly. No, I know. Okay.
But anyway,
I'd like to see LeBron play Kevin Garnett in Uncut Gems. That would be crazy.
That's a role.
I can't believe it, Lee. I had LeBron Identity and James Braun on my list as well. I want to see him interacting with humans. That to me was the best acting.
His name is Braun. James Braun. Okay, that's good.
Wow, man. I didn't even think about the fact that his last name is James. That's perfect. How have they not done that? Did they do that like for an ESPY skit or Saturday Night Live? That's a hit right there for sure. But he's got to be interacting with humans, and you got to take advantage of him being like a physical marvel, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of with you, Skeets. I think the Bourne series would be perfect for him because, that one came out in 2016. Did pretty well at the box office, if I'm not mistaken, but didn't seem to have quite the cultural impact that the early Matthew Damon Bourne films did have. So it's a little bit dormant right now. Slip LeBron into it. He's like a Treadstone operative or something like that. See him get into one of those crazy fights inside of a tiny space would look really weird with him being a gigantic guy. He could pull it off.
What do you got, Andrew?
I was thinking, who could he hang with as an actor? And that's where I wanted to insert him. So I chose the National Treasure series with Nicolas Cage.
There we go.
I could see it. I think it's believable. Yeah.
He has the opportunity to use his athleticism and his brains because they're trying to solve all of these puzzles and they're looking at all like the dollar bill and what's going on there. So I think he could fit in quite well.
Okay.
In the National Treasure series.
How many are there of that franchise?
I don't know. I know for sure 2.
Right.
For sure 2.
Yeah, I've never seen a single one of them. I know Nick Cage is in it. That's all I know.
Yeah, they're not great, but it's kind of on par with Space. It's a nice step up from Space Jam. I feel like if you go from Space Jam 2 to the Bourne Bron series, that's a giant
bit
step
of a leap.
We got to do baby steps for LeBron as an actor.
Okay. Well, that's a fun question for everybody in the stream team, for everybody listening later today. What existing action movie franchise would you like to see LeBron James take over, or at least inserted to, like he's the new age Rock? Let us know. We got a couple more questions here, still on the beach, but let's take our final break. Sports are about more than stats and scores, as we're talking about here. They're about the people and the stories. And The Lead is a daily sports podcast from Wondery and The Athletic that dives into the biggest sports stories of the day, as told by one of The Athletic's reporters who is covering that story up close. It's brilliant. And for the next few weeks, The Lead is turning its attention to the race for gold in Japan, covering stories like the 17-year-old who broke a Usain Bolt record. Whoa! And at the games, who is and isn't a woman, what life is like as a trans athlete. Every weekday, The Lead goes beyond last night's scores to bring you in the most interesting stories that take place at the intersection of sports and culture, all in about 15 minutes each day. Love that. They just had one about Carissa Moore, a 4-time world champion surfer who just won gold at the Tokyo Olympics. I believe that happened today over in Japan. Fascinating look this podcast is at like her training and her mindset, and her dad, who's her coach. Highly recommend it. Follow The Lead on Amazon Music, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.
I had one of my sweatiest days in recent memory yesterday. Started the morning by pruning a gigantic smoke bush in 90-degree heat, hacking away at dead branches with a tiny handsaw, and guys, I was dripping. Took a shower, lived my life, decided to get my pump on, working that core to the max, planking for hours, and I was dripping again. That's when I grabbed a pack of LMNT. It's a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means lots of salt with no sugar. Because when you sweat, the primary electrolyte lost is sodium, and if you don't replace that sodium, it's common to experience fatigue or cramping. Everybody needs electrolytes, especially us big sweaters. LMNT contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, and no risk. Right now, you can try LMNT totally risk-free. If you don't like it, share it with a salty friend, and they'll give you your money back, no questions asked. Right now, LMNT is offering No Dunks listeners a free LMNT sample pack at drinklmnt.com/nodunks. We only cover the cost of shipping at drinklmnt.com/nodunks. Get your free sample pack of LMNT electrolyte mix today. Stay salty out there.
No Dunks, few more questions here on this Beach Steppin' podcast. Hey, No Dunks, I recently sent you a DM on Instagram with the video of the leaf blower skit and suggested you use it as a cold open. To my surprise, it was used on a show not too long ago. However, Skeet said that a ton of people were blowing up your mentions with the same video. However, I still take full credit. So my question is, what is something that you had little or maybe nothing to do with, but still take credit for anyway? Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome. That's from Tarek in Indiana. Tarek. Never heard that name. Like Derek, but with a T. Unless this is a weird typo. That's a cool name, Tarek, from Indiana. So, Lee, why don't you go first? Something you had little or nothing to do with, but hey, you're going to take a little credit anyway.
It's pretty much any time Australia just has success on the international sporting world. I think we're up to 6 gold medals now. We won 5 medals in 67 minutes last night or this morning or yesterday, whenever the hell that happened out there in Tokyo. And look, the thing is, I was born and raised in Australia, but I've lived now half my life outside of Australia. So you lose a little bit of touch. You don't remember or you don't know those athletes as well as you did when we would grow up watching the Olympics. You felt like you knew exactly all the athletes who were going to win medals, and you sort of watch them sort of come onto the scene a little bit. Now, there's some people I'm like, oh my God, I've never even heard of that person, but they're going out there winning medals, and I love it, and I'm flexing and I'm bragging, and I think Australia's up to 6th on the medal table as well, which is great. That's fantastic. We used to, I think it was 1984 in Los Angeles, the first time I really watched Olympics as an 8-year-old. And I think we won 3 gold medals, and that was like a huge celebration. And then we got better and better. In Sydney, we had a huge, I don't remember, I think we finished with 16 goals. And I was like, oh, we're big on the world stage now. Didn't do so well in Athens and even Beijing, I think. But now we're back, and I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah, we're back. Australia's back. So I'll take all that credit and take a victory lap where I can.
Just around the corner from my house, Lee, there's obviously an Australian couple, I assume it is, or at least one Australian in the house. They have generally an Australian flag up hanging outside the house. But
Right.
for the Olympics, Nora noticed this, they changed the flag from the Australian flag to, I guess, I don't know, not a weird version, but the green and gold,
the
kangaroo.
boxing.
Like a boxing thing.
Yeah.
Is that almost like the Olympic version of the Australian team? Yeah.
Yeah. See, again, going back to Los Angeles in 84, we were always like the underdog, the tiny little nation, on the global stage. And so we were like the boxing kangaroo, sort of symbolized everything about Australia. We'd punch above our weight internationally. And so, yeah, that is kind of more like a symbol, because the actual Australian flag with the Union Jack, some people are like, they don't really like that anymore because it still sort of shows you're under British rule. And so
gotcha.
This one more represents and symbolizes sort of like Australia as an independent nation like that. So yeah, it's like we'll always consider ourselves an underdog because our population is 23 million or something like that. But so if you pro rata that out versus like China and the United States, who have hundreds of millions of people and billions in case of China, we're doing better than what China is doing at the Olympics in that sense. So that's what it's about. You're fighting, but it doesn't quite have the same appeal when we've had like some dominant athletes like Ian Thorpe, and it's like, well, he was, he's not really the plucky underdog. He was one of the greatest swimmers of all time. So it doesn't have that same appeal. Then you want to be we were no chance, and then we've come along. Like if we win gold medal in basketball, that would be like in men's basketball, that would be huge for Australia, because there's always that big dominant force out there. And even after the United States, we always sort of just feel like we're a rung below some of those other nations. So that would be an enormous achievement. Like in 96 in Atlanta, we finished 4th, and that was massive.
You guys put a lot of money into sport in Australia, though.
Tons.
That's just,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I see Greg here in the stream team saying, every Kiwi is rolling their eyes at this speech, Sarah Lily.
I think, yeah, because New Zealand feels like probably what Australia did, now. Because,
I think so.
But that's all right. The Kiwis, they're battlers out there. I've had some Kiwi friends who tell me the greatest honor in sport is getting an All Blacks cap, like represent New Zealand at rugby. I'm like, oh, God, no, it isn't. No one outside of New Zealand cares about the All Blacks, but that's their sort of stage because they've won the World Championship of rugby. Yeah, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, but that's the thing with the Kiwis. That's on the big stage. They made the World Cup of soccer in 2010, the only nation to not lose a game, but they didn't even make it to the second round. They had 3 draws and they didn't go through. So they're like, we didn't lose. Yeah, but you didn't win either. That's
okay. Jesus, man. You're going to pile on. All right. So you said Australia has 6 gold medals. So you basically have 6 gold medals right now.
Yep.
In the Tokyo Olympics. It'd be amazing if they put that on the medal count. It says Team Australia / Lee Ellis. All right, good for you. Let's go to you, Andrew. What's something, again, you had little or nothing to do with, but you maybe take a little credit for anyway?
Dinner every single night. My wife is an exceptional cook, and she's always cooking up something. But I have 3 boys. that are all under the age of 9, and they're just running around like crazy. We got to get them to the table. We got to corral them. We get them to the table. They don't know who's been cooking, but I'm always delivering the plate. Enjoy.
Got your
Thanks,
dinner.
Dad. Yep.
I'm sure your wife loves this.
Yeah, of course.
That's a great move there, Andrew,
Yeah.
because your kids just look at you and think, Dad, how does he do it? You don't even see him in the kitchen there, you know?
Does he do it? Oh, the answer is he doesn't do it.
But he doesn't tell them. That's such a classic dad move. It's just like, yeah, when your kids, like, because my kids at one point have thought I played in the NBA, and I've never corrected them on that. You know, the 9-year-old knows. The 9-year-old
your
knows.
kids think you're telling your kids you just won 6 Olympic gold medals despite somehow being in Berlin and Amsterdam.
Yeah, but the 4-year-old, you know, because if I'm wearing like a basketball jersey, like a jersey round, and he said to me one day, "Are you one of the best basketball players?" I said, that's down to interpretation, you know. And he's asked if I've played with LeBron before and Steph, and I'm just like,
well, you technically played with Steph before.
Oh, well, yeah.
Maybe not LeBron, but okay. What about you, Trey? What's something, you know, again, you take credit for, though you shouldn't.
Yeah, I was taking a lot of credit not too long ago for never having a bloody nose in my life. 37 years, never had a bloody nose. The streak is broken.
That's
Unfortunate life. Ugh. Was swimming with the kids, got kicked in the nose underwater, and that did it. But I felt so bad because it was a weak bloody nose. Like, I wish this wouldn't have been the one to break the streak. I was hoping when I finally got one, it was going to be like Andrew WK, just covered in blood. It was just a couple little dribbles coming out. But as it turned out, it had nothing to do with my beautiful nose. It was just pure luck that I hadn't gotten hit in the perfect spot. But it finally happened, and now, just like any other plebe out there, bleeding from the nose.
That's amazing you were just able to survive, especially with kids, for that long, you know?
I've been hit in the nose a lot of times.
Yeah.
But the combination of being underneath the water and the double kick, it did me in.
My God. That is one of the most dangerous things in the world, supervising kids in the pool or, playing with kids in the pool. Because I just recently did it for TK.
Yep.
I was like sort of watching his kids and we were at the pool. It's so dangerous. You get kicked all the time. They have no concept of where they're swimming, really. You just get hit in the nuts, hit in the face, and the shoulder. I don't know how you dads do that all the time. You got to wear a helmet or a face mask out there.
I got a Rip Hamilton mask. After I finally got that bloody nose, I was like, never again. Custom ordered it, and it slips in underneath my goggles. Looks very good and very safe out there.
Oh, good. For me, I guess it's sort of similar to Lee, even though I was making fun of him. I'm taking a little credit for the Raptors 2019 NBA championship, without a doubt. Talked them up all year long on the podcast, on the show, the starters back then. And, they ultimately went all the way and won it. And I was standing every game and blasting grams and tweets and flying home to watch them. I'm taking a small sliver of credit for that
take
title.
A big sliver. Take a big piece.
I mean, I've shared the story before. When they did win the title, it felt like I was on the team. The amount of tweets and texts that I was getting, like I had anything to do with it. So maybe that played into it a little bit as well.
I thought you did have a little part to play. I don't know. I mean, I just felt like the good vibes, and getting in on standing. I thought you were definitely part of the team.
Yeah, I should have got a ring. I'm a little pissed off. Masai didn't reach out to me to give me a ring, but that's okay. All right, one more question here. A bit of a story time, TK.
Yeah, a bit of a story time, a follow-up to a beach stepping question from not too long ago, and I know the guy who sent it is in the stream team right now. Hola, No Dunks crew, with the end of the finals fastly approaching. They're over. This is an older email. And another beach stepping episode with no mention of the jersey swap. I had to follow up in case you missed my email. I said, we got ourselves a trade. After mulling over Trey's offer and countless hours at the trade machine, my decision became clear to me. Although as a Knicks fan, it was particularly difficult time to embrace Hawks merchandise of any kind. I would be a damn fool to not accept an authentic, game-worn, paint-covered Hawks hoodie from young Santa himself. And not just any paint that was splattered through the good and honest work of Habitat for Humanity, certificate of authenticity included. Of course, Trey, I will wear it like a badge of honor. Shout out my guy, Ethan. But I got to be honest, this was an easy decision. They say during times of distress, one often acts irrationally. Well, that's exactly what happened after my run-in with the bleach container.
Okay, so
Ruining Ethan's No Dunks sweatshirt. He offered it to me in a trade, in a jersey swap. I said, you can have my No Dunks hoodie or you can have my Atlanta Hawks hoodie because they kind of matched aesthetic-wise, a distressed and kind of ruined sort of shirt that actually looks cool. But that's what happened after my run-in with the container of bleach. Moments later, Ethan continues, I think minutes, I purchased myself a brand spanking new purple No Dunks hoodie. Thinking I had just ruined my previous garment, never to be worn again. That's right. Hate to put all my cards on the table when I'm wearing my GM hat, but you're dealing with a super fan here. It'd be a huge freaking honor to join you guys on the show to seal the deal and make it official with some virtual handshakes and photos to mark the occasion. Kirby to Kirby, my BlackBerry and I will be waiting. Yeah, that's an email from Ethan, who happens to be named Ethan Kirby. Pretty amazing, right? Kirby, the traditional spelling, I would say. We wear similar sizes as well, so this trade was meant to be, and this to me is the equivalent of calling it into the league office, making sure everything gets approved here. I think it's a fair deal. He laid out his trade piece, the bleach tie-dyed hoodie. I made him his offers. He made his choice, and he gave us the behind-the-scenes look at his decision-making. You never get that kind of transparency in the NBA. Ethan and I, we're going to be talking deets after this. I'll get this in the mail, and then we'll figure out how to actually commemorate this virtual hoodie swap. Cannot wait. Shout out to you, Ethan.
Okay, so that one that we're showing right now, the bleached one, is coming your way, Trey?
That one's coming my way. And I'm sending him my destroyed Hawks.
Okay.
As well.
Okay. Incredible. What a deal. I mean, the deals are happening before draft night. Fast and furious. Valanciunas for Adams and Bledsoe, and now a bleached hoodie for a paint hoodie.
There we go.
Can't wait to see Zach Harper's trade grades on this one. Instant reacts over at The Athletic. Go to theathletic.com/no-dunks if you haven't already and get yourself an Athletic subscription. 50% off right now for all you that don't have one. So again, go to theathletic.com/no-dunks. The Athletic's John Hollinger is going to join us on tomorrow's podcast. Said that off the top. Discuss the NBA draft a little bit. Who's going one, John? Who's a sleeper, John? What other questions are we asking, Andrew? What do you really want to know? Andrew, if you have one question for John Hollinger heading into the draft tomorrow night, what are you going to be asking him?
Why is he so high on Alperen Şengün?
Oh, Şengün, yes. Okay, there we go. That's a question we'll be asking John Hollinger. Tomorrow, you can join us live here on the Stream Team, 10 a.m. Eastern, and then we'll flip it around into a podcast as soon as possible. Great work yesterday, by the way, Andrew, of turning this show into a podcast very promptly. So hopefully it goes smoothly again here today. Keep sending in your NBA and non-NBA questions for our Beach Steppin podcast, no dunks at theathletic.com. And go grab your No Dunks merch, especially our new Stream Team t-shirts over at nodunks.com. Go grab some merch, spill some bleach on it, and then reach out to Trey Kirby and maybe make another deal. You never know. So it is. nodunks.com. Lots of fun. Thanks for all the questions, guys. Thanks to the Stream Team for joining us live. Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, not only is Lee the fake cousin of Gavin Wangening, he's also the fake cousin of the boxing kangaroo that they put on Australia's Olympic flag. You can see the family resemblance there. Muscled up.
Embrace the day, people.